Hi, welcome to the Crafts channel. My name's Corinne Brad, and today I want to show you how to foil on fabric. Now this is a great way to add a bit of shine to any project that you've already made or any project that you want to make. And it's simply by using the Thermoweb's hot melt adhesive sheets. You can get like this, which is an oversized A5 sheet, and it's like almost like a hot glue surface on a greaseproof paper. Very easy to use, but what I will say to start with, before you start doing any of these projects, is don't rush it, because I've made mistakes in the past just by doing things in a hurry, and it's one of these things you really need to let things cool down before you move on to the next step. So, having said that, bearing that in mind, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this slightly the other way around. I'm going to actually take my smallest ironing board in the world and a piece of cotton fabric that I've pre-pressed. And if you take a normal domestic iron, this is a steam iron, as you can see by the holes, but there's no water on it. And I've set it to the medium setting, so that's the 2-dot setting. Because you need it a bit warmer than wool, but not quite as hot as linen. Oh, nearly knocked it over. And I've cut my little alpaca from the hot melt adhesive sheet. I have neglected to cut his eyeball out, so if you hold with me 2 seconds, let's just get that out with a hole punch. And I'm going to lay him on the centre of this piece of cotton fabric, which is then going to become part of another bigger project. Don't be tempted to iron like you would normally. Just once it's in position, just pop your iron straight down on the top of it to hold it in position to start with. And then you need to just hold that iron on there, ideally for about 20 to 30 seconds, to make sure that the glue that's on the back of this greaseproof paper has melted properly and it's sucked into the fibres of the fabric. Now I say about that, you can actually use this hot melt adhesive sheet on paper and card and wood and all sorts of other materials. And if you use them on a non-porous surface, you don't need to allow the glue to melt for quite as long. But you just need to make sure that if you turn it over, I don't know if you can see that on that camera, can you just see it's slightly darker, the outline here of your alpaca. So what you need to do is you need to let that cool down. And I'm going to let that cool down because, as you know, we do these videos sort of in real time so that you can see how long or how quick or how difficult something actually is. While I'm letting that cool down, I will just show you how easy it is to create some sort of template. We'll just do a simple heart. You can draw with a pencil onto the reverse of your hot melt adhesive sheet. And I've got some templates that you'll find in the description under this video that you can download and trace off yourself. So there's an alpaca, there's a feather, we've got this little bumblebee here, and a cute dinosaur. I'll put them all in a PDF file at the bottom of the page, and then just trace them out onto your adhesive. Or if you're going to use them more than once, actually trace them out onto thin card because it makes it much easier to draw around. And then if you just use a pair of normal paper crafting scissors, don't be tempted to use your fabric scissors to cut these out because you've obviously got a greaseproof paper backing. And what you don't want is you don't want to blunt your decent sewing scissors. Oh. It's quite easy to cut. The weight of this is, I reckon, about 70 gram. It's quite flexible, so if you're cutting out something intricate like a dinosaur or a feather or something like that, just watch where the rest of your paper is flopping and you don't cut into it by accident. So there's another motif ready for another project. And then hopefully what I can do now is, let's get rid of this cutting mat, because if you've ever used an iron on a cutting mat, you'll know that it suddenly turns it into a boat. This feels cool enough now that I can peel away the greaseproof paper. Oh. And you can see there's a nice shiny glue. Can you see that if I tilt that to the camera like this? Yeah, you can see the darker image. Now it's great that you can see that, because then when you cut yourself a piece of foil and lay it over the top, you can see whether or not you've incorporated all of these pieces. And especially in something like this, you know, it's so easy to leave the tail off or the nose off or the feet. But I'm going to use this rainbow holographic foil. So it's covered the feet there, it's covered the tail. Oh, let's just tilt it slightly so it does the feet and the ears and the nose all at the same time. Lay that on there. Greaseproof paper over the top to protect really the film in case your iron is too hot. But this iron is set to the same temperature as it was for the glue, because what you want to do now is you want to remelt that glue so that it sticks to the foil, the dull side of the foil on the underside of this carrier sheet. And again, just take your time. If you're in any doubt, iron it for 10 seconds more than you think you'll need. And the same with your cooling time. If you're in any doubt, let it cool for half a minute longer than you think you need. There is nothing more soul destroying than spending time and effort and materials to just fail at the last fence because you haven't got enough patience to wait for it to cool down. So ideally, yeah, I can see from here that it is sticking. I'm just going to give it another quick 10 seconds iron to make sure that all my alpaca's extremities are properly adhered to. And I'm going to let it cool down. And I'm going to take it off the mat to cool it down, because fabric, unlike card and paper, it holds onto the heat so much more. And also under our studio lights, it's holding onto the heat so much more. But ideally, what should happen is, pop it on here so you can see what I'm doing properly. Once you've ironed it on, like I've done with this bumblebee design here, if I tilt that, you can kind of make out the outline of that bumblebee, because where the foil is stuck to the hot melt adhesive, it's truly stuck, and the rest of the foil is just quite loose. So it's a big peel and reveal here. Look at that. And that's why it's worth waiting that extra minute or so to let your work cool down. And if you find there's a little piece here which is actually the foil, it's not glued, but it's where I've peeled it off the sheet, it's stayed attached to each other, so just rub it over gently with your finger to get rid of any of those extra bits. So there you've got, I'll show you to that camera there. There you've got a nice little cosmetic bag. And I mean, especially for Christmas or a birthday, you could fill that with some, you know, beeswax products as a cosmetics case. Here's another one here that I foiled earlier. You do realise that I'm playing roulette here, because 9 times out of 10 when I do something, I haven't been patient and I haven't done it properly, so I'm banking on this peeling away beautifully. There we go. So again, another makeup bag here with a feather, just a glistening feather. And so you can now see that this has cooled, and you can see that it's cooled because what's happened is where the film has shrunk up as it's cooled down. It's bent the fabric. So, wish me luck as I show you how good this alpaca is going to look. Oop. There you go. Look at that. That is possibly the sparkliest thing I've seen for a long time. And I was going to say these would make great little bags or things for girls. To be honest with you, the majority of women that I work with at the Crafts channel would quite happily be parading one of these on the back of a jacket or so. That's the other thing, you can it doesn't matter what fabric you use, as long as it's a fabric that doesn't melt under the heat of that iron. So you can foil your jacket, you can foil your jeans, and I believe that this hot melt adhesive will stay solid up to about a 30-degree wash. So as long as you're careful how you wash things, and I mean with a foiled item, I'd be tempted to hand wash it, or at least wash it inside out so it doesn't get too damaged. You can get away with washing it at least a couple of times. So, I hope you enjoyed that. While you're thinking about what you can foil next, I'm going to foil a couple of other bits. But have a go, have a play around with it. But as I say, I can't stress it enough. Just take your time. Don't do this job in a hurry. Do this on a Sunday afternoon when you've got something on TV and you've got nothing better to do, and grab yourself, as I say, what you need is this Deco foil hot melt adhesive, and you also need either some sheets of fancy foil that come like this, or you can buy them in rolls as well. I mean, they've got some great marbled designs and holographic designs and beautiful colours. And you can just start personalising stuff. That was the other thing I was going to say, actually. If you're going to use this with an electronic die cutter, which you can do if you can't be bothered to cut your own designs out by hand, or you want to do lettering, you can use this on an electronic die cutter. But whereas normally you would pop it on your sticky mat and cut your things out, make sure that you turn this hot melt adhesive sheet upside down so the adhesive is facing up and you're cutting into the adhesive. And to make sure you do alphabets the right way round, what you'll need to do is you'll need to flip your alphabet on the screen. So the letter B will be cut out as a letter B in reverse. So when you turn it onto your fabric, it's the right way round. That's just, I meant to say that earlier. I'm glad I remembered to say it this time. And I think that's about it. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy personalising gifts. Enjoy creating things from foiled fabric. And we will see you again very, very soon. Thank you for watching. If you've been inspired to create, please share your makes with us in the comments section below. And if you've enjoyed videos by the Crafts channel, hit the like button. Want to see more of us? Then click subscribe. See you next time.